Hello, ladies. I hope that you are all doing well. I'm trying to find my screen here so that I can start today's topic. We are talking about low carb meal prep for busy women. And the idea here is that I want to help you with your consistency so that you can get better results. And bear with me here while I find my Zoom because it seems to have escaped me somehow. And I've got a nice little presentation that I want to share with you today. There we are. So I'm just going to share that. And we are going to jump in. And the reason I decided to do this topic today is because I definitely see with a lot of my clients and a lot of the women in this group that I talk to that consistency is a problem, right? So by consistency, I mean that, you know, we're trying our very best to make healthy choices, but we don't do it all the time, especially when life gets busy or we get stressed out or we feel overwhelmed. But unfortunately, when it comes to weight loss or, you know, just having more energy or being healthy, consistency is key, right? And we're going to talk a little bit more about that today. So what I wanted to do today is really give you some super simple ways of getting yourself organized for the week, meal prepping in advance, or even just having some super simple recipes or ideas that you can kind of throw together during the week, even if you haven't prepped in advance. So that's kind of what we're going to be covering today. Now I can see that some of you have already joined me on Facebook. So if you are joining me live, please say hello. If you are say hello to me right now in the comments. I see Renee and Thelma are watching. So say hello. Let me know where you are joining me from. And I know that for many of you, you will be catching this on the replay. So if you do watch this on replay, put a team replay in the comments so that I can see who has seen this. And I would love to know, are you currently eating low carb, or are you thinking about moving towards a low carb approach and you're watching this to start getting some ideas? Hi, Melissa. All right. So let's dive in here. So very quickly, I know we have a lot of new women that have joined the group, and I haven't done a workshop in a while, but if you are new, I am Haley. I am the woman who created this group. I'm a board certified health and wellness coach, and I specifically work with women in perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause. I teach them how to change or tweak their nutrition and their lifestyle habits so that they can manage their weight, so that they can boost their energy and create vibrant health. And if you have read or have been told that weight gain is inevitable as part of menopause, I'm here to tell you it ain't true. Okay. I've got plenty of clients. I even have recently a 74-year-old who lost 26 pounds. So stick with me and we will work on that together. All right. So very quickly, again, I'm the founder of a website called Project Menopause CA. I also created a program called Perimenopause Body Solutions. And at this point, I've had probably over 350 women go through that program. And again, my sort of approach to weight loss is really to focus on tackling hormonal balance and optimizing your metabolism. And again, my approach is very much low carb. And so that's going to be sort of like what we're talking about today is a lower carb approach. So whether you're new to low carb or you've been doing it for a while, hopefully I can give you some tips and tricks. So let's start by talking about why meal prep is super, super key. And really, it's pretty simple. Meal prep equals consistency equals results, right? You have to, and this is what I kind of, again, say to my clients is that if you have a weight loss goal, it has to become a priority. It has to become something that you place a little bit more focus on. And nutrition, that little piece of it, nutrition is going to be super, super key. And I see a lot of women that when they want to lose weight, their first sort of like thought is, okay, I'm going to go to the gym more often. I'm going to go outside and run. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And I would argue that you are much better off taking whatever free time you have to do some meal prep, because 80% of your results are going to happen in the kitchen. Okay. Now, the other thing about meal prep is it's going to save time. It's going to reduce your stress. And I promise you, it will help you hit your goals. And you can see below, I asked some of my clients to just kind of share how meal prep has helped them. And as you can see, meal prep is a game changer. It helps me stay on track. It helps me to make better choices so that I'm not looking for something to eat in a rush when I'm at the office, right? So that is the power of meal prep. Now, the other thing about meal prep is that it helps you to create what I call a well-formulated low-carb nutrition, because I think this is a mistake that a lot of women do when they shift into a lower carb approach, is that they just assume, okay, well, I know what kind of, fits in the low carb category. I'm just going to kind of like grab this and grab that. And this is approved and this is approved. And so women are throwing together different foods that are low carb, but they're not giving their body what it needs to thrive on low carb. And meal prep becomes important because you have to put a little bit of thought into what you're going to eat in order to look your best and feel your best when you're using a low carb approach. And when I'm talking about a well-formulated low carb diet, again, it's way more than just reducing your carbs. And I think, again, this is a mistake that women make, is they just assume, okay, I got to get rid of bread. I got to get rid of pasta. I've got to get rid of sugar and cookies and all these things. There's much more that goes into it than that. You have to think about hunger management, because if you're not managing your hunger, you are not going to stay on track for very long. You have to think about protecting your lean muscle mass. We are over the age of 40, ladies, and we are going to be more prone to sarcopenia, or losing our muscle mass, and we have to do things to protect them. We have to ensure that we're reducing metabolic stress. We cannot go on a 1,200 calorie diet. We have to make sure we're eating enough calories to avoid stressing out our metabolism and slowing it down. We have to think about how can we support our hormones. As you know, when we're in perimenopause and menopause, our hormones are all over the place. And I'm not just talking about estrogen and progesterone. I'm talking about testosterone, insulin, cortisol. I'm talking about your adrenals, your thyroid. So we have to take that into consideration. And of course, we support our overall health. So again, a little bit of thought has to go into this. So in my program, which is called Perimenopause Body Solutions, one of the main things I teach women is what I call the low carb formula. And I won't go into it in depth in this course or in this workshop, because I've covered it before and I can share that with you. But two of the crucial components of the low carb formula are 30 grams of protein per meal and 4 to 6 servings of vegetables daily. Okay. As you can imagine, that requires some planning, okay? We have to come up with some strategies for making this happen. And that's what I'm going to be sharing with you today. You'll see that we're going to go into all kinds of strategies and all kinds of ideas to help you get more protein in your diet and to help you get more veggies in your diet, okay? All right, so let's go into it. Simplifying meal prep. That is For me, you know, I am all about keeping it as simple as possible. I myself am often home alone with a 6-year-old, and so I can't do complicated the way I used to before she came into my life. And a lot of my clients are busy career women. They have children. They are away on the weekend at ski resorts and doing this and doing that. They're active. So we don't have much time. We don't want to take up too much time in the kitchen. So we have to think about how can we simplify it. Okay. So I'm going to start by giving you some of the simple meal prep strategies that I use inside of Perimenopause Solutions. So number one is a weekend success ritual. And this is something that my clients learn in I think the 3rd week of the program, where really it's sort of like, you got to find time on the weekend to do some planning. Like you have to plan out your meals. I give them meal plans, but they have to decide if they like the recipes or if they're going to find their own. They have to find time to go and shop, because if you don't have healthy ingredients in your fridge, guess what? You're going to reach for crap. And they have to have some time to shop or do a little bit of prep work. Okay. That's the weekend success ritual. Now, I'm going to talk about the 6S formula in a second here, but that is another strategy. And what it basically means is meals where protein and veggies, because remember, that's part of the low carb formula. The 6S formula is basically different types of meals or recipes that include both protein and veggies all at once. So it just makes it that much easier. Another strategy is make ahead breakfast recipes. Okay. And I have a cheat sheet that I'm going to give you that's going to give you some ideas here. I won't go through them all with you today because you're going to get very bored of listening to me talk, but make ahead breakfast recipes. A couple of examples: chia seed pudding with some extra protein powder is one of them. Doing like a scramble or a frittata with additional protein and extra veg. Making a low carb hash. These are all things that you could do on a Sunday morning when you have more time, or a Saturday. Make some leftovers, heat them up earlier in the week. Okay. That is, I get my clients to do this on almost all my meal plans. The first couple of days of the week are leftovers from the weekend or something that they can prep very quickly. This weekend, I made a chocolate peanut butter chia seed pudding. I put all the ingredients in a blender, blended it all up. It took me about 5 minutes, and I chucked in my chia seed and I just let it sit. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I just scooped it out and ate it. It was delicious. Okay. It does not have to take much work. Protein shakes. Yes, I know sometimes they can be boring, but they are the best way to stuff all those nutrients into a blender, blend it up in 5 minutes, walk out the door with your protein shake and a straw, and just get on with your day. Okay. And sometimes we just have to be like, okay, how am I going to do this? Remember, consistency equals results. If you're not consistent and you're not getting results, that's the first thing you got to look at. Okay. Make ahead soups and salads. This is another key strategy inside my program. I do a lot of chopped salads. So instead of having like these wilted greens that get all like soggy and gross, we do a lot of like cabbage, or we do like steamed broccoli, or Napa cabbage, or Brussels sprout salads. So vegetables that don't get mushy, that you can make ahead of time and once again eat on repeat during the week. And then soups. And another thing that I get my clients to do with my meal plans and as part of the strategy is instant pot soups. We're going to talk about instant pots. We do that on a Sunday. We make a big batch of soup that includes protein and veggies for our low carb formula, and then freeze them in individual containers for later in the week. So by Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday morning, when you haven't gone grocery shopping, you have something that you can just grab and go, because that's going to be the key, is that you need to figure out, how can I make low carb meals that are simple, easy, efficient, convenient, because that's what we're looking for, right? If we don't have time or we're stressed out, we're going to be like, what is the most convenient? Oh, cheese and crackers. Okay. That's what's convenient, or the bag of chips and the dip or whatever it may be. So these are all just strategies for thinking about how to make it more convenient to make the right choice. We're going to talk again about Instant Pot, but Instant Pot and one pan meals, again, the idea here is that you can shove the protein and the vegetables in one dish, as opposed to having like the rice in one pot and then the vegetables over here and the protein in the oven. And now you have all of these dishes and you're overwhelmed. And the next day you're like, I'm just going to shove pizza in the oven. Okay. Simple sides. Simple sides are key. Like, I do the same sides over and over and over again, and I keep it simple. Sometimes it's steamed broccolini with butter, doesn't have, and some salt, maybe a little bit of lemon juice. Or I do a lot of cauliflower rice. Sometimes I buy the frozen stuff, right? You've got to come up with strategies that will help you to get vegetables on the table as quickly as possible with the least amount of brain effort. Because at the end of the day, we have decision fatigue. We don't feel like thinking about what we want to make. So find, what I also tell my clients is, every time you find a recipe that you enjoy, your family enjoys, it doesn't take time or much time to cook and prepare and clean. That's a strategy. Put it in your toolbox and use it whenever you need to. Okay. And then of course, leftovers, like a simple strategy is, if you currently have a family of 4, start cooking for 5 and don't let them have it. Hide it in the back of the fridge. Use that as your lunch. Okay. So those are just some simple strategies. Now I want to talk more about what I call the 6S formula. So again, the idea with the 6S formula is that these are simple sort of cooking techniques or recipes or ways of cooking where the protein and the veggies are all in one. We talked about protein shakes. We've talked about salads. Salads are easy. And if you think salads are boring, it's because you need to get more creative. Salads are delicious. You can make them in any which way and keep it super, super interesting. We'll talk about salad bars in a bit. Soups, right? Any kind of soup, Instant Pot, chuck in your veggies, whatever your spices are, shove in some chicken thighs. You've got yourself a really good soup that's going to help you meet your macronutrient needs, right? Stir fries, meat, veggies, fat, sauces, spices, boom, in one pot. Stews, which I like to do in the Instant Pot. And then sheet pan recipes. Sheet pan recipes are where you basically put some kind of protein and some vegetables and some spices on a baking sheet and you shove it in the oven. And while it's in the oven, you can walk away and do your laundry and do other things, okay? So again, we're talking about how we can be as efficient as possible. So just remember this: shakes, salads, soups, stir fries, stews, and sheet pans. All cooking methods that are going to help you be more efficient. And again, I'm going to give you guys a cheat sheet. I'm going to put the link in the introduction to this video. So come back and find it, or maybe I'll try and put it in the comments towards the end here, and it'll have all of this for you so that you can come back and get those ideas. Okay. Low carb meal prep. So that was sort of like giving you ideas of cooking techniques, let's call it. This is like just super basic low carb meal prep that you can do on the weekend. And you don't have to do all of this, but you can do some of it every single weekend. Okay. Hard boiled eggs being one of them. They're pretty easy, especially in the Instant Pot. Once again, you're going to hear me say Instant Pot a lot, but have a batch of hard boiled eggs. Grill or roast some chicken. Okay. Yes, it's kind of boring, I know, but if you plop it in soups or you put it in your salad and you have a yummy dressing, it won't be as boring, I promise you. Roasted vegetables, chop a bunch of veggies, toss them in olive oil, a little bit of salt and pepper, roast them in the oven. Salad greens and chopped vegetables, right? So just making sure that you wash your greens, right? Because if you're anything like me, if I buy like a head of romaine lettuce and I don't prep it during the week when I'm tired, I'm like, ugh, I don't feel like doing it. So either do it in advance or do what I do and buy like the boxed salads, like the mixes, like the mixed green, the arugula, the spring greens, whatever it is, where you don't have to do any work. You just pull it out and make a salad. Chop your veggies. If you're going to have, bell peppers or cucumber or celery or anything like that. Just chop it up in advance. You can do all of this while you're watching Netflix, okay? And you've got it going in the background, or you're listening to a podcast and it keeps you entertained, whatever helps motivate you to get in the kitchen and do a little bit of this. Dips and dressings, right? So, and I should add like marinades and sauces there, but one great habit is just get into the habit of making a salad dressing once a week. Like, go online, find a quick salad dressing, a balsamic vinaigrette, a champagne vinaigrette, a green goddess dressing, and have it in the fridge ready to go. And then you can avoid the crappy stuff that you can get at the grocery store. Or different dips, like a chimichurri that you can like drizzle over chicken, anything like that, because that's where the flavor is, right? The flavor is in our dips, our sauces, our dressings, our marinades. It's not the plain chicken breast. The chicken breast is just the means to get the protein. Make a batch of cauliflower rice, super easy. Chop up your cauliflower, shove it in a food processor. It will literally take you about 10 minutes, and then store it in the fridge. And then you have a very easy go-to vegetable side dish. Or zoodles, right? Zucchini noodles. You can just do those in advance. I will do them. Again, it takes me about 5 minutes. I have a big Tupperware. It's in my fridge. And then if I want to make, spaghetti for my daughter, I've got my zoodles there. Super easy. There's no extra work. Egg muffins, which I'm going to give you a recipe for, or frittatas, which is just, again, eggs, extra protein, vegetables, cook them in advance, warm them up during the week. Low carb soups and chia seed puddings. Okay. These are just some basic recipes that you can, and again, you don't have to do all of this all at once, but what you can do is like pick and choose a couple and just get a head start on the week, because that's going to be the key, is to get the head start so that during the week, it's that much easier. Okay, so meal prep strategy. So now I'm going to talk about some specific strategies. And the first one I want to talk to you about is the Instant Pot. Raise your hand, put Instant Pot in the comments right now if you have one. If you do not, I promise you, when my clients, when they start my program, if they don't have an Instant Pot, I'm like, please go out and buy one. A lot of my recipes are Instant Pot recipes, and I promise you it's going to be a game changer. And a lot of my clients already have Instant Pots collecting dust because they're too nervous to learn how to use it. I was nervous the first time too. Now it is like I use it multiple times a week. I love my Instant Pot. One of the beautiful things about the Instant Pot is you can set it and forget it. You literally shove a bunch of ingredients in the Instant Pot, you put the lid on, you set your timer, dinner cooks itself, you can go and do other things. So here are some of the things that I make in my Instant Pot. I make a lot of soups. I make chilies, I make curries. I have a wonderful butter chicken. I make different stews. Like this week, I made a cacciatore chicken stew with like roasted bell peppers in a jar. I didn't have to actually roast them myself. There were capers, mushrooms. It was delicious. It was so good. So different stews. You can make your spaghetti sauce. You can make those hard-boiled eggs. They're easy. You literally put your eggs, a cup of water. I think you set it for about 6 minutes if you want hard-boiled eggs, and then when they come out, they peel super easily. Game changer. Any kind of harder vegetable like beets or spaghetti squash, you can start cooking them again on a Sunday, and then during the week you now have these cooked beets. You can make a nice beet salad, or you can get your spaghetti squash out and you can stir fry it with some butter and some spices and make a really easy side dish. You can make cauliflower mash in your Instant Pot, or you could even do like potatoes if you're having a day where you're boosting up your carb intake. You can also make like big batches of meat. My two favorite are pork carnitas, which is basically like pork shoulder with like a little bit of liquid and some spices, and you cook it for like 30 minutes. And it turns into pulled pork. And then that pulled pork you can use later in the week with whatever, right? You can use it with chimichurri sauce. You can make some tacos. You can add it to your salad. But again, it's about having that protein cooked and ready to go so that during the week, all you have to do is pull out a little portion and just, add it to your meals, right? Again, low carb formula, 2 of the main ingredients, protein at every meal and veggies at every meal. Or shredded salsa chicken, literally chicken, a jar of salsa, turn it on. Okay. I know you can all do that, right? Okay. I'm getting lots of hearts coming up. So I'm hoping that this means that you guys are getting some ideas here and that this is giving you some, again, very practical, implementable, I don't even know if that's a word, strategies that you can use. Okay. Let's keep going here. All right, meal prep strategy number 2 is a salad bar. I just did this workshop with my clients where I just essentially taught them how to create their own salad bar. Like, when you go to the restaurant and they have this big fancy salad bar, although usually they're pretty crappy. Well, you can create your own in about an hour on a Sunday, and then you can literally have a different lunch every single day. And so I did this with my clients. And I sort of like showed them all the different lunches that I had made for myself. So every day of the week, it was a different salad. And here are some of the things that you can do on a Sunday as part of your meal prep so that you can have a different salad for lunch every single day. So again, make sure you've got greens. If you're not going to clean them and chop them yourself, buy the pre-made stuff. Some fresh herbs, chopped or grated vegetables like grated carrots or grated beets, dense protein. Remember, you need to make sure you have your protein. This could be cooking chicken, or it could be emergency protein like cans of tuna, cans of salmon. You can have smoked salmon in the freezer. You can have pre-peeled and cooked shrimp. Like, think of ways that you can make it super simple. Hard-boiled eggs, going back to that, making sure you have different types of cheese in your fridge, making sure you have nuts and seeds. And if you want to get really fancy, you can even like roast them, or you can toss them in butter with a little bit of monk fruit or allulose to just give them that little like candied crust. Those are delicious. Make your dressings, which I talked about earlier. Roast some vegetables, right? So roasted vegetables in a salad are delicious. So again, you could take a second and roast some vegetables and then have them in a container and toss them in your salad. Toppings, what toppings do you want? Can you chop up some sun-dried tomatoes? Can you caramelize an onion? And again, if you want to add a few carbs, you can think about roasting some chickpeas or cooking some grains like quinoa that you can toss into your salad. None of this needs to take a lot of time. With the grains, you can even now buy containers or packs of pre-cooked grains. They're not instant, they're actual whole grains. They've just cooked it for you, and you literally can just break it apart and they're done, right? So, but think about how you could build your salad bar for yourself. And then every morning you could be like, ooh, what am I going to put in my salad today? And you can come up with a different idea. Okay, next meal prep strategy is easy breakfast ideas. I know that breakfast is probably a challenge for a lot of women. And I think this is where women fall into the trap of wanting to grab like a muffin or a bagel or a couple of pieces of toast, or, yogurt and granola. And again, going back to the low carb formula and giving your body what it needs to manage your hunger, balance your hormones, optimize your metabolism. Protein is super, super key. Has to be in your breakfast. And if you can get veggies in your breakfast, it's like bonus points. Okay. So some ideas that are packed with protein. So egg muffins, this is great. You can do them in like a muffin tin. And again, in the cheat sheet, you'll have like a general site, like a little bit of a cheat sort of a guide for doing that. But it's like eggs, additional protein, veggies, maybe a bit of cream. You can add in some cheese if you want. You bake them in the oven in a muffin tin, the same way as you would do regular muffins. And then you can freeze them and you can pull them out when you need them, right? So that's a great idea. You could do low carb breakfast burritos, right? So the idea here is like scrambled egg, some vegetables, maybe some salsa, some guacamole. You can buy the low carb tortillas or the coconut wraps, have them pre-done and wrapped and ready to go. And then you just have to pick them out of the fridge in the morning and off you go. You could make protein pancakes ahead of time and just put them in your toaster in the morning and have those ready to go. Cottage cheese is a great high protein breakfast. You could just toss in a little bit of fruit, toss in a little bit of nuts, and there you go. You've got a great breakfast. Frittatas, which is kind of like a quiche without the crust. Chia seed pudding, I add protein powder to my chia seed pudding, and that'll keep in the fridge for 3 to 4 days. Low carb hash, like I said at the beginning. Greek yogurt, another source of protein that is low carb. You can add some berries, some nuts. I like to add a little bit of MCT oil to get some healthy fats, and protein shakes. These are all make ahead breakfast ideas that are packed with protein that are going to help you, because remember, it is not just about reducing the carbs. We have to think about protein. We have to think about fiber. We have to make sure we're getting enough veggies. So these are all some ideas for you. Okay, so that's it. Those are my strategies. I just threw like a bunch of stuff at you. You can come back and listen to this on repeat. I'm going to give you that cheat sheet. Actually, why don't I do it now? I'll do it in a second. I'll put it in a second. But again, I wanted to show you, this is one final little, one of my clients who just popped this in this week. And if you read this, again, if you're not meal prepping, there's a really good chance that you are not going to consistently choose low carb meals that are going to help you reach your goals. And if you're not consistent, you're not going to get results. It's that simple. You have to figure out how to be more consistent with your choices. And if you read this, you can see that it only really all comes together for my week if I've done the actual prep in advance. It doesn't mean you have to spend all day in the kitchen on Sunday. 1 hour, 2 hours, if you have it. I promise you it's going to be a game changer. But even if you don't do that, you can, like, and maybe Sunday is not a good day for you. Maybe you get up on a Monday morning, or maybe you do it on a Wednesday night. You have to figure out what's going to work for you and how you'll be able to do this more consistently. And if you still don't have time, use some of the strategies that I've given you that don't require much time. Like, again, if I don't have much time, steamed broccolini and butter, and boom, it's on the table with a bit of salt and some lemon juice. I just get her done, right? Okay. 3 ways I can help. So if you need more support, number one, if you haven't received it already, I recently created like a short series of videos. It's about macros. It's free. Each video is less than 10 minutes. If you want to get that, if you haven't started receiving it yet, because there's over 3,000 members and I can only get it out to so many women at a time. But if you want to get that training, just put macros for menopause in the comments, and then I will start sending you this little series. There's like 5 different videos. It will introduce you to the macros for menopause method and how I create that well-formulated low carb nutrition. The other thing you can do is you can ask me about my 21-day low carb challenge or macros for menopause challenge. It's almost ready. I think by this time next week, it should be ready, and you can hop onto that. You'll get meal plans, you'll get recipes. I think there's over 60 recipes inside of it. Using the strategies that I've given you today, the protein shakes and the Instant Pot recipes and the simple salads and all of that stuff, that will help you get started. And if you really need the support and the accountability, then you can also reach out and ask me to set up a time to chat to see if you would be a good fit for my personal coaching program. Lots and lots of support in this group. It's free, or you can do one of my smaller programs or my bigger programs. But if you're struggling with consistency and you're feeling frustrated, reach out to me and let's see how I can help, okay? If you want to learn more about the program, it's projectmenopause.ca/details. On Facebook, if you're watching this, you know where the group is, but you can also find me at Haley Wilson Fitness, or you can shoot me an email, whatever you want to do. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I'm going to stop share, and I'm going to go and find Facebook, and I'm going to plop this. Whoops. Let's see if I can do this. I'm going to go and find, I'm going to give you guys the link to the document that you can grab that has like all of this information and a little extra. I just didn't want to bore you to death by going through recipes, because I think that would be a pretty boring workshop. Okay, let's jump onto Facebook. I'm going to place it in the comments so you can, you should see it pop up if this works the way I think it's going to work. So let's go comment, and there's a link. You should be able to find that now, ladies. Simple low carb meal prep for busy women. If this was good, if this was helpful, can you give me a thumbs up in the comments, or give me a little heart? Let me know that you enjoyed it. Don't forget, team replay or team live, tell me where you're from. If you have any specific questions about meal prep, please let me know. If you have any questions about low carb nutrition or hormones or anything, please let me know. You can reach out to me in the DMs. I won't bite. I won't force you to buy anything. I'm here to help. I'm here to support. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you again soon. Next topic, by the way, is going to be 10 things that every single woman has to understand about hormones and metabolism in order to lose weight. It's going to be a good one. Thanks for watching. See you again soon. Bye.